All right, let's do this before our beer gets cold.
I think it might be too late.
But before our beer gets hot, not cold.
We do have silence downstairs, so that's good. We don't have to worry about puppies barking.
Right.
Or my wife coming in and yelling like she does every episode.
She just comes in and screams at us all the time.
So we don't have to worry about that.
Good.
But anyway, do you want to start the show this time? I always start it.
I can. How should I start it?
However you feel like you need to start it.
Okay.
I mean, we don't really we kind of do a cold starting now.
Yeah, I kind of like the cold start better.
I sort of do. I think there'll come a time when we might not do that as much, but it's good to let people know what they're listening to and stuff like that.
All right, you let me know and I'll start the show.
All right, whenever, just start it.
Are you already recording?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay.
I just get it going and then I cut all the shit out. anything that's shit, it's gone.
It's gone. All right.
Half the podcast gone.
So, hi.
Are you talking to me or are we starting the show?
We're starting the show.
Oh, hi.
Hi. How's it going?
I wouldn't have started it this way, but it's totally up to you. I'm not trying to tell you how to start the podcast. You can do it however you want.
Welcome to This Epic Disaster.
Oh, we're here.
Yeah.
It is This Epic Disaster.
That's what we're doing today.
Does it feel weird when you start the show? Like, we just sat here and chatted for a while, and now we started the show. Something about it feels weird. It's like different. It's like, oh, we're now on the roller coaster. We're now on the machine.
Your voice changed.
You can't get off of it.
My voice changed.
We're rolling. We're going up, and now we're gone. Can't stop it.
Yeah, this is the moment where my heart goes, oh my God, what if I die? Oh, well, too late.
During the podcast?
No, during roller coaster.
Oh. Hi, folks. How are you? It's been a pretty good week.
It has been for you. Maybe?
I've been a bachelor for a week. Did we talk about that last week?
We might have touched on it.
My wife is out of town. By the time the podcast comes out, she'll still be out of town for a little while. So I'm rolling on bachelor mode.
Look at you.
Yeah, I've forgotten how to do it.
Well, you did good one night.
No, that was the first night. But you know, I don't know. I guess early on, like when I had relationships before, it's like when you're going to be alone for a while. It's like, awesome. You can have parties and invite people over. And now it's just like, oh, really? It's just like, even after the first night, it's like, okay, I'm done with that.
You're leaving me for a week?
Yeah.
Come back.
I guess that's a sign of a good relationship when you just don't want to be, when you can be alone, but you just don't want to be.
You don't want to be.
Yeah. And most of the time when we've been away, because I think we've been away for a week before, apart, I should say. And it's usually because I'm on business. So I have something to do. And even though, I don't know, I guess I don't sit around and think about, oh, I wish she was here or I was there or whatever. I'm on the road working.
You're busy.
So I don't think about it.
Right.
I just believe I wished I was home.
Right.
I think that. But now it's just like, I'm here. I'm the only one here at the house. So
you have all the responsibilities.
I have to feed myself.
You have to feed the dogs.
I
you
have to
feed
clean
the cats.
up, take out all the garbage. No one can tell me. I don't mind doing that stuff, but usually I have to be reminded.
You do, because you forget things.
Yeah.
And you don't have any concept of time, which you also relayed to me again today. You have zero concept of time.
Well, since I've been with my wife, we go to bed like 9 o'clock. We go old people's hours.
Nice.
Every night. So now, almost immediately, I've started like moving back to my old way of. So I'm up at like midnight.
Yep.
Now, and my body can't take it
because there's no one there to tell you to go to bed.
No, and I start working. I'll start doing internet stuff or watching TV or something. And I'm just like, and it's like a kid. I'm about to drop dead.
And
it's
you're
like
fighting it,
and no one's like, let's go to bed. So I have to tell myself, hey, you know what we should do right now?
The thing that we always do at the beginning of the podcast.
Let's do our live beer review. Thank you, because I'm really, really thirsty. And for those who don't know, live beer review is something that we used to do on our old podcast, Life in a Kilt podcast, which we brought over to this podcast.
Because we like beer.
And Life in a Kilt podcast is only a monthly podcast now, and this is a weekly, and we can drink beer on a weekly basis instead of a monthly basis. I think that's the logic behind the entire thing.
More beer.
Now, okay, on this beer, there's a big strawberry.
Yes.
And you told me it was had strawberry in it.
Yes.
You just poured the beer into your glass, and I can freaking smell strawberry.
This is Red Hare Brewing Company's Bless Her Tart is the name of the beer. It's a Berliner Weiss.
I have no idea what that means.
It's going to be a sour.
Strawberry sour?
Yeah.
Like Halloween candy?
So here's the things that you can expect.
You told me one thing that's like the worst thing, but anyway.
Yeah, I'll tell you that in a minute. It's going to be tart.
Okay.
Berrylicious.
All right.
And sour.
Okay, I can handle those. Used to, I thought I would hate sour beer, but I kind of got to where I like them.
I am really getting into the sours right now.
But then.
This one.
But then.
Yeah. I didn't notice this when I bought it, and I don't know. I honestly don't know if I would have bought it.
Boughten it? That's
Botten? Did I just say botten?
You're a botanist, which means you go shopping a lot.
Damn. I don't know if I would have purchased this particular brew if I had known that it only has 3.8% alcohol content.
Yeah. That's a cough drop.
I mean, that's NyQuil.
Seriously. And I think NyQuil has more. But what that means is you got to drink like 4 or 5 of them, probably.
And I don't know that I'll want to because I haven't tasted it yet.
This is like a high school beer. And I'm not encouraging high school kids to drink beer. In fact, you should not. High school kids don't. Kids,
I think all
stay away
high
from the
school
beer.
kids should drink beer, smoke pot.
Really?
Yep.
That's not the official stance of this Epic Disaster podcast, I'll tell you. But
well, I did it, and look at me. I turned out fine.
That's what we're talking about. Anyway, I should have some of this really quick, but I just feel like it's like a wine cooler. Does it smell? You smelling it?
Oh wow! Do you remember? It smells very strawberry. You know what it smells like? Oh my gosh! You know what it smells like? It smells like Captain Crunch with berries, with crunch berries. That's what it smells like.
All right.
I haven't tasted it yet, but it smells like Captain Crunch with crunch berries.
I'm going to predict that you're going to like the taste.
Ooh, I do.
It's got a little more vinegary taste than I expected, but then afterwards you get that hit of strawberry.
It's not a sweet beer by any means.
No, there's nothing.
It's
sweet.
Sour.
It's definitely sour. Maybe in a good way, but then it does have that little, almost like when you're vaping strawberry.
Right. It does. It smells very strawberry. And it's kind of fun. Yeah, I think I might have 3 or 4 of these.
Yeah, that's a good thing is you might need 3 or 4 of them.
I don't know that I need the calories, but...
I needed this beverage, though. I'm so thirsty. I don't know why.
Good.
What was I going to talk about today? Okay. Did you have something you needed to say?
I did.
What did you want to say? What do you?
I would like to tell you something stupid I did.
Something stupid. You actually have one thing you could narrow it down to?
Well, today.
Okay.
Yeah. This could be considered one of our features, which is That's Not How That's Done.
We do have that feature.
I pulled a That's Not How That's Done today when I arrived at your home. Mm-hmm. I am ever so slightly hungover today.
Wait. You didn't tell me this. Now, is this true?
It is.
You're driving?
You can drive when you're
hungover.
I said hungover.
Well, did you party last night?
I was up until 5 a.m. drinking bourbon with my neighbors.
Oh, interesting. Well, I saw you went out somewhere, had a beer, right? Because you posted it online.
Well, yesterday at lunch, I went to Brass Tap.
Okay.
And I had a beer there. And Brass Tap is a chain restaurant. I'm not real big on chain restaurants, but I'd not been to this one before, so I wanted to check it out.
It looked like it had some good beer.
It's right by my grocery store. Well, they did have a nice selection of beer, most of which can be purchased at like your local grocery store. You don't really have to go anywhere special to get them. But I did have Victory Brewing's Sour Monkey, which was really good, so I had 3. But
what's the alcohol content of that?
It was like 9.5.
So you had a monkey last night and a hare tonight. You're doing the whole zoo.
Bring on the elephant. No, I didn't say that.
Wait a minute.
So, so then I went and did my grocery shopping and went home. Also, little tidbit, after I did my grocery shopping and went home, I got my groceries out of the car, shut the door in the garage, and I dropped a big-ass bottle of wine on the garage floor.
Don't you hate that?
Yes.
It's just, why not flush the money down the toilet?
Right?
Why did you even need to take the time?
Yeah.
To just, why don't we have a thing where we're just like, oh, by the way, you're either going to break this bottle of wine or just go ahead and give us $15
and
right
walk
now.
away,
and
we'll give you nothing.
That's right.
Right, and
because that's what happened. You do get to smell it for a little while.
I would have rather done that because what comes with dropping a huge bottle of wine in your garage right by your car is you now have to snake a hose into the garage so that you can spray it out, pick
Right.
up all the glass,
Right.
make sure there's no glass under your tires, et
Right.
cetera, et cetera. So, yeah, there was about 30 minutes worth of work involved in that and no wine.
And the real irony is you now really, really want the wine.
I really wanted the wine after that. Yeah,
But you don't get it.
I did, because it's on the garage floor.
Yeah, I mean, it would be kind of cool if there was like a guarantee. And you can kind of go back to the store and go, hey, by the way, I just dropped my wine. Is there any way to...
Yeah.
Remember the time I dropped the whole bottle of scotch?
Well, you did it in the store.
That's the thing. If you do it
Yep.
before you buy it. Now, I guess some places have you break it, you buy it. I don't know.
Sure.
They could have made me pay for it.
But they didn't. I mean, it's not like you were running down the aisle smashing things.
I think it was their fault because because when I just bought this bottle of scotch that I think we reviewed. No, we reviewed it on a different podcast, but it was in like the little container, carton
Yeah.
container, and it was that same thing. But this one, when I turned it, the whole top came off and it slid out and hit the floor. So when I bought this one the other day, it was taped down, so that couldn't happen. So
I don't know that they need to child-proof scotch. Though.
but they have to scotch-proof it. Who's buying the scotch? People are,
So after all that fiasco happened, I did go out last night to St. Augustine's, which is a restaurant kind of over in my neighborhood, and
had a lot of booze.
I had some booze there, but then the booze happened when I got back to the neighbor's house, and we watched a movie and had some
Booze.
makers, some booze. So so
What'd
I'm
you
a
say?
little bit.
Bourbon? You're having bourbon?
Yeah, we were having bourbon. So I am a bit hungover today because I walked into your house. I go into your kitchen like I always do.
Yeah.
I was looking for some ibuprofen. I found some ibuprofen, and I got 3 of them out, and I put them on the counter. And then I saw your bag of pistachios, and I was like, ooh, nuts. I need nuts.
Yep.
So I got a handful of nuts and closed that up. And then I was like, okay, I got to get a drink so I can take my ibuprofen. So I threw a couple of nuts in my mouth and ate those. Went to get a drink.
Do you know how hard it is to not make a joke right now?
How hard it is with nuts in my mouth?
Go ahead. Not saying anything.
Okay,
Not
so
gonna do it.
You will, though. I can see it happening in your head. So from there, I go to get a drink, and while I'm getting a drink, and which, by the way, I chose champagne to take my ibuprofen with, I got some champagne, and I picked up the ibuprofen and put it in my mouth, and I had just eaten nuts, mind you. Mm-hmm. So I put the ibuprofen in my mouth and chewed right into him.
Wow.
As if you would start chewing into nuts.
Oh, man.
The entire inside of my mouth went numb. And yeah, so then I had to drink champagne to get rid of it. And it took me a second to figure out what happened.
Numb mouth.
I was like, wait, what am I chewing on? What happened? What did I do in the last 2 minutes to make myself feel this way? It's like you have to stop and remember what you just did.
Yeah, it's just like you're drinking shots of something, you drink, and then you pour out some bleach that you're going to put in the laundry.
Right?
And then you're like, did I just drink that bleach?
Did I drink that bleach?
No, thank God, there it is.
Am I
Didn't.
dying now? I mean,
But I would do that. I've had to really, really check myself, make sure I didn't drink the bleach.
I mean, you kind of do, though. You ever just have that epiphany moment where you're just like, wait, what have I been doing for 10 minutes?
It's called middle age. It's the whole middle age. I think when you're old, you just don't care. So middle age is like making that transition from actually caring to not caring. So it's just like you're like, wait a minute, what's going on? And then when you're old, you're like, screw it, whatever. This happens.
It happens. Things happen around me. I can't control them. I'm just doing what I'm doing.
I kind of need to potty, and I just did. That's old age. And in middle age is like trying to figure out,
can I get to the bathroom in time?
did a little bit just happen? I don't know So yeah, it's a little transition. That's what it is.
Yeah.
These are things they don't tell you when you're young. You just think that all of a sudden you become old, but the process of getting there,
yes,
is a little bit entertaining.
And I want to tell all the younger listeners out there, if there are younger listeners,
suicide is not a bad idea. We're the only podcast that advocates it, so I'm just telling you.
Somewhere in your mid-30s, you will discover the first thing to go is your ability to eat whatever the fuck you want.
That's around 37.
Yep.
I found for me, my life started the peak, where you really think this. I figured this out. It's happening. The body's working.
Yep.
My
Things
mind,
are good.
I know what I'm doing in bed. I know
Right.
what I'm doing when I'm watching TV. I know what I'm doing when I'm reading a book. I've got it.
I know how to date. I know how to talk to people. I know how to do my job. I am on par.
And then it's like, hello, 37 is here.
Hello.
I'm sorry, I got to take all that stuff away.
No more pizza.
Nope.
Mm-mm.
And you don't know. It's just one day you're like, why? What is happening to me?
Why am I feel sick? Why
I've
do I
eaten
feel
that
sick?
thing, and then it never stops. And
then
then
it
your
never-
favorite foods,
Yeah.
your favorite foods will torment you. And then you have to eat plastic foods, fake foods.
Fake food
Next thing you know, you're eating like fake bacon, and
with
you're like,
zero spice.
I remember I could eat regular bacon.
I could eat a pen full of bacon. Or I could eat an entire large triple cheese pizza in one sitting. That was my thing. That was my go-to comfort food. And I can't do that anymore.
I can do it, but it immediately goes right down to my and it stays there. I put on all that weight and I cannot get rid of it. I could get rid of weight if I noticed I was getting too heavy. 2 weeks of just eating right, and then man, it's gone. My metabolism was so fast. Now, forget it. No way.
I hate you for having that ability.
It was the way I was. Can't do it anymore. I don't have it anymore.
Anyways, long story short, I do not recommend biting into ibuprofen.
Or suicide. We don't recommend that.
We don't really
We were just
recommend
joking.
suicide. It was a joke because suicide is funny.
And we need you for an audience. I mean, we
Please
can't afford
don't
to
kill
lose
yourself.
anyone right now.
Although, if you like maim yourself or become like comatose, you can just keep downloading.
I think what we both have discovered is that anytime you feel suicidal, if you just do what you can do to hang on, in just a few weeks, you'll be so glad you didn't do it.
You will be.
And you don't get that, feeling if you actually do it. It's
Unfortunately.
kind of done.
Yeah.
You can't go backwards. So
You can't. We're not going to go into that depressing, but at some point I would like to discuss that further.
suicide and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it wouldn't be bad to have an episode like that. Probably.
Or maybe it would. I don't know.
Okay, so this is one of the things that makes me want to commit suicide.
What?
Okay, here's what I do when I'm a bachelor. This is, I told you I eat a lot of crap, so I have eaten a lot of crap. But one of the things I did the past couple nights is I'll put on MTV Classic.
Yeah.
And I watch all of the old videos.
So funny.
I watch, especially the 80s, because that's my era, and I watch
Love
all the
the
80s.
80s, yeah.
A lot of our listeners weren't born then, but in the 80s, I watch, I love it. Because I remember where I was or what I was doing or even, where I was when I first saw the video.
Sure.
And videos, I don't know that people now think about it. If you're my age or around my age, you know how important videos were. Videos at the time,
extremely important.
they were more important than music. It was that was my life goal when I was in my 20s. I wanted to direct music videos.
Right.
I honestly felt like it was going to be like forever. I just thought they were the coolest thing. When you look back at it now, not all of them are that cool. But anyway, just so. And I posted a meme. I think I even posted it on this epic disaster page a while back about the face you make when you see an 80s star now that you haven't seen in 30 years. And it's just like, what? And that happened a lot this week. Because what happens is I'll be on my laptop working, and then a video come on, and I'll be like, oh, whatever happened to that person? And then I'll look them up.
Don't do that.
It's
Don't
like,
do that.
Whoa.
Like that person aged. Oh my God, that
They
person
aged the same amount as me. If I looked myself up, I would freak myself up.
You're right.
So anyway, it was fun in some ways. But okay, I'm one of those people, and I think everybody, but when I was in my 20s, I had a crush on every girl in the world.
Yeah, because you're a 20-year-old
in my
male.
20s. And so there were I don't care who was doing videos. Paula Abdul,
Madonna,
Ann Wilson from Heart.
Sure.
So I had a big crush on all these people. And so you look at them, Paula Abdul still looks fantastic.
Yeah, she kind of does.
But there are a lot of people
that just don't.
And it's not fair because I don't look like I did then. And it's not that they look awful. It's just, okay, I'm going to throw this out, and it's not a bad thing. But it's just I remember at one point when I was young, Annie Lennox from the Eurythmics used to creep me out. She looked so scary to me. I don't know what
scared you.
She had this closed hairstyle and these big
turned me
teeth,
on.
And there was something about her early Eurythmics that scared me. And then this one video, and I think it was Here Comes the Rain Again, where she was walking around in the Scottish landscape in this flowy nightgown or whatever. And she looked so cute and sexy. I was immediately just all the fear that I had.
You were no longer frightened of Annie Lennox.
I was not afraid of Annie Lennox.
Oh.
But I was watching that video the other night, and she's so beautiful in that video. I mean, just naturally, she doesn't even have a lot of makeup on. She's gorgeous. And so I was just like, what does Annie Lennox look like now? So I look her up, and I'm like, whoa, she just looks like a grandmother.
Does she really?
She looks like a grandma. Nothing wrong with it. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with it. So I found myself doing that to a lot of artists. Is like I would see somebody, I'm like, what do they look like now? And I would look, but it would be like, whoa. They're grandparent. Well, that's the thing. I can be a grandparent. I'm not. I'm grandparent age.
I don't think she looks like a grandparent right now. I'm looking her up right now.
I would have to show you the pictures that I saw. But anyway, there's nothing wrong with it. And
There's nothing wrong with it.
It's
no.
aging. I'm so glad to be aging. I have no problem with it.
Yes.
So, okay, now, so this is why I'm telling this long story.
Thank you for your long story.
Is I came up with something. It's an April Fool's joke that I want our listeners to participate with us. Okay?
Wow.
It's a community April Fool's joke. So if you're listening to the podcast, help us do this April Fool's joke.
Okay.
Please. So I was watching REM's It's the End of the World.
Right.
As we know it.
Yeah.
And I'm watching it, which I love that. I always loved that song. And it was kind of a cool video. And it's this little kind of a badass kid on there just ripping things up, throwing around, skateboarding, just being a kid. And I was like, wonder what that kid looks like now. You remember, you always get those memes where it's like, this is what the kid from Nirvana's Nevermind album. Was it Nevermind? I don't know.
Nevermind.
The little naked kid in the pool.
Yes.
And there's pictures of what he looks like now, and you're just like, whoa, really? And so I was just thinking.
But he was a baby, and how could you possibly know what he's going to look like now?
But then it's the same with the kid. I was just like, okay, what is that kid? I mean, does anybody know what that kid looks like now? And then I was like, wait a minute.
Nobody does.
So I come up with this April Fool's joke. So I did a meme, which is on our This Epic Disaster Facebook page right now. And I encourage people to reblog it. And basically what it says is, this is what the kid from the REM video looks like now. And there's a picture of the kid then and the picture of the kid now. So you see both then and now. But the April Fool's joke is the now is actually me.
It is actually you. And
it's not the kid.
The kid from the video would not have aged that much.
All right. So he would have been your age at that time. So you're 10 years younger than me, and he would have been about 10 years younger than me.
12 years younger than you, but okay.
You're a decade. Okay, so he would have been about that. So he'd be about your age. I've seen people your age that look kind of like me with the graying beard.
Sure.
So I think it's entirely plausible. And in fact, I did find a picture of what the kid looks like, and he looks middle-aged. Much, much nicer looking than me.
So he's early to mid 40s, like I am.
He has a little, close, really, really close beard. Almost not a beard, just stubble, but it's graying, and glasses and stuff. So I mean, it could be him. So, and when you look at the body, I don't ever take my shirt off. I don't like to take my shirt off. I actually took my shirt off for the picture.
And posted that shit for everybody to see. What is wrong with you?
It's April Fool's.
You'll be the fool.
I am the fool. But anyway, so I just want to encourage our fans, go to our website, reblog this, because I want it to get out. I want people to think that's actually what the kid looks like. And at some point, that kid's going to be like, wait a minute, that's not me.
That's not me.
But no one else will know.
And people will just share it and be like, wow,
I think,
look,
and then
the guy.
I think we can make that a meme. Everybody's going to think. It's kind of like the whole thing where people are like, what, the kid from the Life cereal, Mikey or whatever, died or whatever. There's all these urban legends. We can start our own.
So if you love us, or if you just like us, or if you're just listening, just do this. Just go to our webpage and find the meme and go ahead and share it and have all your friends share it.
Yeah.
And let's see what happens.
You don't need to talk about it or describe it. Just share it and just let it get out there. Once
no
it
comment
goes.
necessary. Just put
Because
it out
people
there.
don't check facts. They just put things out. So just keep doing it. And next thing you know, I will be that kid. Everybody will think it's me. I don't know why I wanted to do that, but I just thought it was funny. It amused me.
It's amused you.
So it's our April Fool's joke. Participate, please.
Cool. So I just thought of something that I didn't tell you about.
Uh-oh.
Yeah. So listen, okay, we were discussing the other day my neighbor.
Your neighbor?
My neighbor. I was talking with your wife about it on St. Patrick's Day. My neighbor.
Don't go into too much detail here. What?
Well, he passed away.
What?
He did. He died.
I don't know who you're talking about. Now I'm confused.
The guy with the pool.
Oh.
Yeah. He's gone. He's dead.
What?
Yeah.
Oh.
And his.
That's creepy.
You may see it on Investigation Discovery.
It's that kind of thing?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Is this something we should talk about?
Not right now. I just wanted to give you a heads up and let you know that something weird is happening next door to me, where the person that owned the home there is now dead.
Are you in danger? Are you involved?
I am not involved.
You did swim in that pool.
I did swim in that pool.
But maybe it's the pool killer. Maybe they're trying to kill everyone. People have there's a theme in a lot of murder.
Yeah.
And maybe this murderer's theme is people who swam in the pool. Maybe he was like, he didn't get a job as a lifeguard that he wanted when he was a kid.
Right.
Or he got it and people made fun of him.
Or he got it and couldn't do it. Like people died.
Yeah, someone drowned in the pool.
Yep.
And so now he's on this mission to kill people that he knows in a pool. And and maybe he lives close by and he saw that pool.
Oh, I don't want to know that.
I'm just saying, could be. You never know.
Be.
First
Could
of all,
be.
that guy, that's creepy. I think I saw that person. I never met the person, but I saw the person out a couple times.
Yeah, I know that you did. Unfortunately, I mean, it's very sad, and I feel horrible for his friends and family.
Uh-huh.
But I'll keep you posted. It could be an interesting thing.
So you can't reveal all the information yet.
Not yet.
That's pretty bizarre.
It's very bizarre. Very, very bizarre.
Knowing someone next to you is killed.
And now, okay, how horrible of a person am I? I'm like...
You're making it a podcast entertainment.
No. What's horrible is one of the first... Not one of the first things. Let me rephrase that. One of the things that is going through my head is, well, I hope the new neighbor's not an asshole.
Uh-oh.
I hope I still get to swim in the pool.
Really? That's your thought?
Yeah.
Oh, who's the asshole?
Me. I'm the asshole. It's me.
I just want to let you know John died. Really? Can we still swim in the pool?
Yeah.
Wow.
I'm an asshole.
Yeah. Maybe some therapy's in order here.
I mean, I wouldn't swim in it now. It's gross and disgusting. He was sick. He couldn't clean it. What are you going to do?
You know what? Okay. This would be a good time to talk about this because I'm wondering about, I don't know where, and I see it all the time, but recently on somebody's Facebook page, they were like, well, I just wanted everybody to know that my Nana died.
Uh-huh.
Last night, and I now know that she's in heaven with
How do you know that?
Biff and Brian and Mary Ellen, and she's making chicken and dumplings, her famous chicken and dumplings.
Really? Making it for Jesus.
And everybody's happy about it, and John's playing his guitar and banjo, and they're sitting around picking and grinning while they're eating Nana's chicken and dumplings. And I was just like, really? Do you really believe? I'm not going to even challenge, because, sometimes we do this. Sometimes, maybe we shouldn't. Kind of like poke holes in people's sacred cows. It's just what we do.
We like to poke holes.
Yeah. But I'm not going to even talk about heaven as far as whether it exists or not.
Okay.
I'm not going to go down that path. I'm just going to say, let's just say that it does.
For argument's sake.
There's an afterlife. Let's say there's a heaven. A traditional heaven, like we all think that there might be.
Living in the clouds.
Do we really want to have to go there and do the same things we did? Isn't that what heaven is about, to take a break?
You think Nana wants to slave over
the
chicken
hot
and
stove?
Dumplings for you while you just sit there and play your fucking guitar?
And what?
Get up and help.
And what? And even if we just look at the logistics of, first of all, is she using gas? Is it a gas stove?
Right.
Is it
What's
electric?
she doing to the ozone?
Is it an electric stove? Who's paying that bill?
Right.
What's it hooked up to?
Right.
Or is it just off the power of Jesus? I don't know. The Bible doesn't say he could cook chicken and dumplings. Maybe the power of him could do it. I don't know, but it's not very logical.
It's not.
You think and I'm going to go very literal here. Let's just say we all get mansions when we die. I know, I'm not going to get one. I know what you're saying.
Do we get 72 virgins too?
No. I was always told you die, you get a mansion. So let's just say you get one. So you go, first of all, who's building the mansions?
Right.
And
if they have a mansion of their own, why are they up there building you a mansion?
Are there real estate people selling the mansion? Are you assigned one? And are there people like, I thought it was going to be bigger?
Or can you ever move?
I don't know. Can you trade them? I don't know. How many rooms do you get? Bedrooms?
What if you want a different mansion?
Do you have to clean the thing? I don't even want to clean my own house here. So there's a lot of things.
What if you have more babies in heaven and now you need more rooms?
But I'm just saying, I see this all the time, and maybe it's a comfort thing, but it's just like, oh, Uncle Roy died, and he's playing football in that big football field in the sky. And it's like, do you really think they're playing football in heaven? I mean, why do people believe? And I don't think they're saying it figuratively. I really think they believe that Nana's cooking chicken and dumplings.
Well,
and you have to realize, you also have to realize that somebody had to kill the stupid chickens in heaven.
Right.
Because if a chicken died and goes to heaven, are they? Well, first of all, maybe an angel comes down here and grabs it and takes it back. But if not, do they have chickens up there that they're slaughtering in heaven?
Is there murder happening?
Wouldn't that suck
heaven?
for an animal? That you're a cow and you're like, here, I'm in heaven, finally made it up into heaven. And they're like, oh, wait a minute. We have the big burger cook-off next week.
Yeah,
I wanted to let you know while you're in heaven.
Since you're in heaven, we're going to eat you.
Yeah.
That's just going to happen. We're going to kill you, grind you up, and eat you.
Well, I really should have gone to hell.
You'd be roasted down there.
Well, they're going to be roasted there, too.
Either
way, for a cow, you're in trouble.
You're in trouble.
Well, anyway, I don't know. I just wonder, maybe that's not the thing to talk about, but I just wonder, do people really believe that? Do people just not think about it? Or is it just a comfort thing? It's just like
there are people,
something to say? Or do we really think that we're going to be eating chicken and dumplings
in heaven?
If you're eating chicken and dumplings in heaven, it also means you're pooping in heaven.
So where does that shit go?
I would kind of like to think my afterlife is somewhere away from poop.
I don't want to have to poop.
Poop seems to me to be an earthly thing. I don't want to deal with poop. The sewage system and just the smell. Every once in a while, you're just like, heaven is supposed to be the best it can ever be. At one point, you're going to be like, whew, it could be better.
It could be a lot better.
I can imagine a way heaven could have been better without that.
Without that stench.
So
poop.
I would think maybe poop is not involved. And then maybe it's magic chicken and dumplings where you only eat. Wouldn't it be great if you could just eat, and never get fat, never affect you in any way?
You'd be surprised, though, that people that believe, okay, this cracks me up. People that believe, and I am. If this is what you believe, great.
We're not making fun.
Not at all.
We're just analyzing.
I'm just trying to understand. So people that believe in this place called heaven, where these people are making food and playing football and pooping, they don't believe in magic.
Magic, as in like witchy magic kind of stuff.
Let me lay this out for you. So, a friend of mine, and he and I are good friends, and we know that we have completely different belief systems, and we just kind of let that be a thing, and it's fine. But the things that we have in common are the things that we share.
Okay.
Movies, etc.
Sure.
So, he was sick, and I told him, "Well, I'll make you some of my magic soup."
Yeah.
Not, what kind of soup is that? That's not the response I got from him. The response I got from him was, well, I don't believe in magic. And I was like, do you honestly think I'm making magic soup?
Yeah.
I'm making soup that works like magic.
Mm-hmm.
It's good for you. It's healthy. But wait a second. You don't believe in magic?
Yeah.
But you believe that people are eating chicken and dumplings and playing football in the sky.
Yeah.
Okay.
There's no magic.
Moving on.
Yet a snake talked.
Yes.
The Bible's full of magic. I just want to say
it is.
There's a lot of very we won't even call it magic. We'll just say supernatural.
Yes.
Things in the Bible which could be magical.
Yes.
But yeah. A lot of I know people who very much against like Harry Potter
because it's magic and wizardry
and stuff, and it's like, where do you think that magic and wizard stuff comes from? There's people getting turned into other things in the Bible.
Mm-hmm. Pillars of salt, for instance.
Here's something that I just heard last night. This is totally out of the way, kind of what we're talking about.
Okay. Random segue.
The song "We Are the World." It's another '80s song. "We Are the World." That
Yes.
thing. There's a song. There's a lyric that Willie Nelson sings, and he goes. Let me see if I can do my Willie Nelson.
Okay.
He goes, "As God has shown us by turning stones to bread."
When did he ever turn stones to bread?
He didn't. He never did.
What the fuck?
God never did that. In fact, the only time that's ever mentioned in the Bible is the devil tried to get Jesus to turn the stones to bread, and Jesus wouldn't do it. His comment was, "Man shall not live by bread alone." That never happened in the Bible. And so it's in that song.
So Willie Nelson thinks that God turned stones into bread.
I can't blame Willie though.
Willie's
Willie didn't
been
write the
smoking
music.
for a minute.
Willie's seen stones turned into a lot of things over the course of his life.
Yes.
So bread is just not out of his way of thinking.
Right.
But it's not something that ever happened in the Bible. God never showed this. So where did that come from?
Maybe he's just in the know.
I've
Maybe he
heard
just
that.
knows that it happened. It wasn't written down anywhere, but I just know that it happened.
Yeah, I've heard that my entire life, and I mean that song, not my entire life, but since the 80s, since it came out, I've heard that song, and I never thought about that until I read that last night. I was like, holy
And back
crap,
then,
that's
you
so
were
true.
actually into things of the Bible.
Yeah, but I never thought about it, and I never really analyzed that. And it's kind of a weird lyric anyway, as God has showed us by turning stones to bread. But I never stopped and went, when? When did he do that?
When did? And how do you know?
I never thought about it. Anyway, so next time you hear that song, just turn it off.
Okay.
Don't give money
Don't give money.
to a fake thing like that.
And you should definitely commit suicide.
I have no idea. I didn't mean to interrupt you. I don't know what we're talking about now.
It's fine. Let's
Lost.
move on. We
I've
do
lost.
have a actual topic to discuss today.
We do have an interesting.
One that we both deal with on a regular basis.
Yeah, I kind of wanted to talk a little bit about stress
Okay.
and talk about what stress is. I have some facts about stress, and these are very interesting facts,
Okay.
and they make me stressful. No, they don't. But I've been the last few weeks for personal reasons. I've been under a lot of stress. Mm-hmm. A lot of stress.
A lot of stress.
I handle it, and I kind of wanted to talk about how I handle stress, and talk a little bit about stress. This is totally non-medical,
Okay.
non-therapeutic.
We're absolutely not recommending any of these things.
I
for
don't
you
know
to do?
anything about how to handle any of this stuff from a real
I'm
medical.
bleeding.
What are you doing?
I don't know, but I'm bleeding.
What the heck?
What did I do?
I don't know. That's stressful.
That I just suddenly have blood all over my hand. I
Talk
don't-
about murder, and then it starts coming home. Maybe that guy was like into voodoo and stuff. He's like, no, he heard you. Mm-hmm. He's like coming back and haunting you.
No, this is God showing me how to turn skin into blood.
Yeah. Looks like you got stigmata here while we're in the middle of the podcast. All right. So, 40 interesting facts about stress and anxiety.
Okay, I have both.
Yeah, I don't think either of them. I almost tore that.
You almost did it again.
That beer almost went in your lap. Okay. Stress has been called the silent killer, and it can lead to heart disease, high blood pressure, chest pain, and irregular heartbeat, and spilling of the beer.
Which I just almost did.
See, that you should never talk about other people, because then it will come right back and get to you. See, that's already you've talked about murder and you got bloody, and talk about beer. And well, this is very true. I know that this is true.
Okay, what's true?
Leads to heart disease, high blood pressure, chest pain, irregular heartbeat.
That's correct.
Stress will do that to you.
Yes.
And I think we all know that. We've
We've
all
all,
been through that, right?
yeah.
While it is a myth that stress can turn your hair gray, what? It can cause hair loss.
Okay, so
Ooh.
the gray hair doesn't necessarily happen from stress, but hair
baldness
loss
could
happen.
It doesn't mean everybody who's bald went through stress, but it can cause you to lose it. In fact, hair loss can begin up to 3 months after a stressful event. Wow. What if it comes back? Do you know?
I don't know. Like alopecia is caused by stress? Is that what they're
I
getting
don't know
at?
if that's true. I have a friend who deals with that, but I have no idea if it came from a stress. She told me some extremely stressful things that happened in her life. I don't know if they were coordinated, but I think, well, she's still a little stressed out now, but I think she's not as stressful as she was. And alopecia in most people, it's not a permanent thing. Alopecia is the disease, I guess, or disorder where you lose all of your hair.
Right.
Not just on your head, your entire body. And a lot of times it comes back. Sometimes it's just patchy.
I mean, so
With
alopecia
her, it's like complete.
Alopecia is one thing, which is a medical condition, but your body has the ability to manifest stress physically, and so perhaps you don't actually have alopecia. Perhaps you actually are going through stress.
Yeah, I don't think they're alopecia is I believe, if I remember right, it's where your body's immune system attacks the hair follicles.
Okay.
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 And so, but this stress is something totally different, and you see it in animals. Animals who are stressed out,
They lose their hair.
They do. In recent studies, the top most stressful jobs are. See if you know what these are. Let's see. There's 5 of them here.
I know what one of them is.
Okay.
It's air traffic controller.
It says commercial airline pilot, so we'll give you that.
Nope, that's different. That's totally different.
I know, but it has to do with airplanes, so I'm gonna say yes.
It's a completely different thing.
You got 4 more. Come on.
Surgeon.
Oh, that's the top one. Yes.
Okay. I'm also going to go with...
I don't know that you'll get these other 3.
All right. I'm going to try, though.
One of them doesn't even seem like a job, but it is.
Okay.
And it makes sense. But
okay. So the other jobs would be...
one of them's a lie.
One of them's a lie?
I totally believe it.
Okay. What about like financial trader?
No, but you're kind of in the area of it.
Okay. Lawyer?
No.
Yeah, I'm not going to get the other 3.
Advertising account executive.
No.
I would see that that's very stressful. I mean, your entire job is based on getting somebody to buy ads for something, and it's very, very difficult. I know some people who have that job. I don't know how they do it. I actually had a job where I had to do that, and it drove me nuts. I can't do it. What's the other? Photojournalist.
Photojournalist is one of the most stressful jobs.
That's what I was saying. That doesn't seem like it, but I could see if you're like in another country, if you're taking pictures of war and things like that, or like even locally.
And your only job is to document and not to
That's got to be
assist.
stressful. Yeah.
That's got to be very stressful.
A couple of years ago in Ferguson, when they have the riots at night and the photojournalists who are going around, I mean, some of them got hit and killed and shot at or whatever. That's got to be stressful. And finally, real estate agent.
Bullshit.
That's what I say.
I call bullshit.
I know several real estate agents.
As do I.
I don't know why that's, I don't know. Somebody will have to explain it to me. Okay. The least stressful jobs.
Least stressful jobs would be, let's see, someone that works in like the neonatal care unit.
I don't know about that. I don't believe any of these either, because I know some of these are stressful.
All right, what you got?
What is an actuary? I know that, isn't it?
I don't know. Look it up. You have Google.
I have something. I know that, but I can't think of what it is. Dietitian?
No.
It's not very stressful. Just like, just eat different, all right?
It's not very stressful. You are correct, but it's not the least stressful, because if you're a dietitian or a nutritionist, you have got to make money.
Yeah.
And a lot of people will come to you and ask you for advice, and all you do is give out advice, and then you could be wrong.
Yeah. Astronomer?
Yeah, I could see that being pretty...
especially if you discover the meteor that's hitting the Earth. That's got to be stressful. It's like, wait a minute, what does that thing do? Oh, no, it's coming this way.
Nah, that wouldn't be stressful, because by the time you discover it, you'll be dead before it gets here.
That was kind of Stephen Hawking. He seemed pretty mellow. Systems analyst, you should know. Is that stressful?
Okay, so an actuary, I'm just going to go back for a second. An actuary is basically a statistician.
Okay.
I mean, that's just analyzing numbers. That's not stressful.
That makes sense.
So you said a systems analyst or a systems admin?
Systems analyst. You analyze systems.
It's extremely stressful.
I would think so. And software engineer, which to me seems a little stressful.
So those are supposedly the least
stressful job.
They're saying that a systems analyst is the least stressful job? Are you kidding me?
I can't imagine. We got to come up with some stressful jobs that are...
I'm thinking least stressful job here. I'm thinking, puppy daycare.
Probably, yeah.
That's pretty low stress.
Yeah. Top 3 stressful cities in America: Chicago, Los Angeles, and New York.
Yeah, I buy that.
Stress alters the neurochemical makeup of the body, which can affect the maturation and release of the human egg. It can also cause the fallopian tubes and uterus to spasm. Sounds like fun.
Not always.
Which can affect implementation. In men, it can affect sperm count and this is motility. Is that right? Motility? I would think mobility. Motility. And can cause erectile dysfunction. In fact, it may account for 30% of all infertility problems.
Stress.
Your erectile might dysfunction if you're stressful. So it affects all kinds of sex stuff, women and men stress.
Motility is the ability of organisms and fluid to move or get around.
I gotcha.
Okay.
It's like mobility.
Right.
Okay. Stress can make acne worse. We all know that.
Yes.
Researchers say that stress-related inflammation rather than a rise in sebum is to blame. Laughing lowers stress hormones. That's what I hope we do here.
Incredibly.
I hope we get to make some stress relief.
You can actually pay to go
and laugh. Just go to a comedy club.
Go to a comedy club, go to trivia night.
Yeah.
Go to, something else that's actually going to stimulate your brain at the same time. Don't pay to go sit in a room and laugh.
Listen to This Epic Disaster. It's free.
It's free.
And sometimes it's funny. And it strengthens the immune system by releasing health-enhancing hormones. And we all love health-enhancing hormones.
I just like hormones.
The stress hormone, cortisol, not only causes abdominal fat to accumulate, I'll show you that, but it also enlarges individual fat cells, leading to what researchers call diseased fat.
My fat has a disease.
That's what stress will get you. Stress is linked to the 6 leading causes of death: heart disease, cancer, lung ailments, accidents, liver cirrhosis, and suicide.
Oh, I imagine those are all forms of... I absolutely believe that cancer can form based on your stress levels.
No, it doesn't always, but it can. So that's the thing. It isn't always a result of stress.
No, it's not.
The stress of caring for a disabled spouse increases the risk of stroke substantially in the person caring, I'm assuming.
Yes.
I know someone who did that, and it literally affected the rest of her life. She just kind of went crazy.
So her spouse was
Yes.
ailing, and she was his main caregiver.
Yes, and he passed. And it affected her in a lot of ways, but I think she just had anger for the rest of her life.
Ouch.
Still does. The stress, I already read that. Chronic stress can impair the development growth in children by lowering the production of growth hormones.
Absolutely.
From the pituitary gland. So if you don't want tall kids, put them under a lot of stress. Make them get all A's.
That's jacked up.
I want small kids. So
I'm
do your homework.
Make you stressed out.
Yeah. A CNN poll reveals that the number one reason for stress in most countries is money. I would think so. The countries most stressed about money are Malaysia, China, Singapore, and the United States. Countries least stressed about money are Russia, France, and Italy. I don't believe that.
Did you say Italy?
I kind of did. I don't believe that. The term stress derives from the Latin stringere. Stringere. I actually had Latin, and I can't pronounce that.
Good try.
It means to draw tight.
To become taut.
Yeah.
Yes.
Stress causes capillaries to close. Stringere. Which restricts bleeding if a flesh wound should occur. So stress is like a quick Band-Aid.
So if you're bleeding to death, just stress out really fast.
Start thinking about your bills. Pupils dilate during stress, much the same way they dilate in response to attraction.
But pupils dilate when you have an orgasm. That's not stressful.
I've never seen that. Of course, I keep mine closed. To gather more visual information about a situation. That's what you're there to do that.
It's that fight or flight, or a fight, flight, or freeze response, because it's no longer just fight or flight. It never was.
Yeah.
There are 3 responses. There's fight, flight, or freeze. And regardless of what your body ends up doing, time does seem to slow down because your body moves faster.
Yeah.
And you do take in more information.
Chronic stress floods the brain with powerful hormones that are meant for short-term emergency situations. That's what you were just talking about. Chronic exposure can damage, shrink, and kill the brain cells.
Yep.
As you can tell, I've had a lot of stress in my life. Studies find that women with moderate levels of stress were at lower risk for suicide than those women who had very high or very low levels of stress. Scientists suggest that stress is part of the evolutionary drive because it has enabled humans to survive. Specifically, it temporarily increases awareness and improves physical performance.
Exactly.
I could do without it.
Because you're breathing faster, your heart's beating faster, you're taking in additional information, you are able to analyze what seems like faster.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Stress makes the blood stickier. And everyone loves sticky blood.
I like sticky blood.
In preparation for an injury. Such a reaction, however, also increases the possibility of a developing blood clot.
Right.
Oh.
So a highly stressful situation could cause a clot and you could die
After
the situation's over.
Yeah, so don't get stressed.
Don't get stressed.
Let's see you calm down for that.
Just don't.
Research has shown that dark chocolate reduces stress hormones such as cortisol and other fight-flight hormones. Additionally, cocoa is rich in antioxidants called flavonoids. It's one of my favorite words. Flavonoids. I always wanted to date a woman named Flavonoid.
Something really wrong with you.
What is your name?
Flavonoid.
Chronic stress increases cytokinase. Is that right? Cytokinase? Which produce inflammation. Exposure to constant inflammation can damage arteries and other organs. So don't get stressed. Lighten up.
Chill the fuck out.
Yeah. Stress can alter blood sugar levels. That doesn't make sense. Which can cause mood swings, fatigue, hypoglycemia, and metabolic syndrome. Metabolic syndrome, a major risk factor in heart attack and diabetes. This is all sounding so tasty, right?
Yes.
Chronic stress worsens irritable bowel syndrome, IBS, a condition that irritates the large intestines and causes constipation, cramping, and bloating. Sorry.
What did you just do with your face?
Did a mouth fart. Peptic ulcers are caused by H. pylori bacteria or the use of NSAID, NSAIDs or whatever, not stress. However, stress can exacerbate. I like that word too.
You don't know what NSAIDs are?
I do.
Non-steroidal anti-inflammatory drugs.
Okay, I just didn't know what it stood for.
Okay.
And keep them from healing. Chronic stress decreases the body's immune system response to infection and can affect a person's response to immunization, which means that if you're stressed, you're likely to get a cold or sick or the flu.
Absolutely.
Or cancer.
Or cancer.
Or irritable bowel syndrome.
You'll just shit yourself and die.
Stress can increase the ability of chemicals to pass the blood-brain barrier. I don't even have one of those, which shields neurons from some poisons, viruses, toxins, and fluctuations in normal blood chemistry. Acoustic stress caused by loud noises can trigger an episode of long QT syndrome, also known as this bit. A disorder of the heart's electrical system, LGTS, is estimated to cause as many as 3,000 deaths in the U.S. each year. Young people from military families who have deployed parents report higher levels of stress and emotional problems. That makes sense.
Yeah.
Stress increases the risk of preterm labor and intrauterine infection.
Intrauterine?
Something like that. Intrauterine. Intrauterine. You can't do it any better than that.
Probably not, but I'm trying. I'm going to try.
When cells shrink due to exposure to stress hormones, they can disconnect from each other, which contributes to depression.
That's intrauterine.
Okay, that's what I said. Chronic low-level noise and low-frequency noise below the threshold of human hearing provoke stress hormones that can interfere with learning and can also elevate blood pressure, degrade the immune system, and increase aggression. This is something I want to know more about.
The increasing of aggression?
No, the chronic low-level noise and low-frequency noise below the threshold of human hearing.
Brown noise.
So that stuff can cause stress, and you don't even know it. Where's it coming from?
Yeah.
And can people do that?
Yeah, absolutely.
Can it be used as a weapon?
It can be used as a torture device.
Wow.
Absolutely.
Stress creates I'm only reading this because I want to say some of these words. Stress creates hormonal changes in the human body that can decrease libido and sex response. However, the BBC reports that penetrative sex, as opposed to other types of sex, such as masturbation, decreased stress hormones, while those who had no sex had the highest blood pressure.
And see, one of my forms of stress reduction is masturbation.
Well, if you're not getting laid,
and I'm
that's
not,
got to be stressful.
It is stressful.
Well, I just think that, that's something I've been aware of over many, many years. It's like when you're stressed, sometimes it's like, let's go do it.
Let's just fuck.
Let's have stress sex.
Yeah.
Sometimes you need to do it. It helps out.
I agree.
I'm advocating it. Men are more likely than women to develop certain stress-related disorders, including hypertension, aggressive behavior, shut the fuck up, and abuse of alcohol and drug. I'm going to drink some more of my beer, and that's a little bit about stress. These are facts about stress, and they're very interesting, even though they're some things we know about.
So I just told you one of my stress reducers, obviously masturbation.
You whacking. I could do without that.
One of my other stress reducers is alcohol.
Yes, I think, but that's sort of used as medication. So, I mean, in some ways, don't you think, I don't know, I think it's a legitimate way to reduce stress.
Alcohol?
Don't you think?
I do.
I mean, if you're going to take some drugs, because you will get drugs, you go to a doctor and say, I'm stressed, and the doctor will say, here, have some drugs. Different kinds of stress drugs. I think the danger is just doing it yourself, self-medicating, because you don't always know, what
proper dosages of
yeah,
alcohol.
You just drink it. But it can be relaxing at the end of the day when you're just stressed. One beer, one glass of wine, one
does nothing.
bottle of scotch could just make you,
yeah,
relaxed.
One whole bottle of scotch, sure.
Yeah,
sure. Let's make that a thing.
That's
I think
a
that
kind
we
of
should
suicide.
recommend that to our listeners. If you're stressed, go drink a bottle of scotch, masturbate. Well, maybe you should masturbate first. You might hurt yourself if you drink a bottle of scotch and then try.
No, I would go to sleep after the scotch.
You'd be like, I'm not
Masturbation would be the
touching
next morning.
anything.
Yeah. Well, okay. So alcohol and whacking are your two methods of stress release.
Those two things, plus one other thing that I think can be summed up in one word, which is hermiting.
I was thinking about that when I was going to ask you because I don't know if this is everybody's technique or everybody's response to stress is to shut themselves into a place by themselves.
It's certainly one of mine.
I do that. That's what I do. I tend to close down everything. I stress. I mean, relationships. I get a barrier there. I just don't want to go out.
Yep.
The worst stress I ever had, it was after my first divorce back in the early 2000s.
Right.
And I didn't know what was happening because stress sent me into depression, or maybe depression caused me stress. I don't remember, but they were hand in hand. And I'd never been through that. And I didn't know I was going through it. All I knew was I was having these weird physical manifestations of stuff that I didn't know why or what. I always describe it as it felt like hot poison was like running through my veins all the time.
That sounds very painful.
It was not good. And I didn't know, and it was causing a rise in, I'm sure, blood pressure. Just digestion wasn't working well. My mind was not thinking clear. And just a lot of things were happening. And I went to a doctor for physical, and he wanted to put me on depression medication. And I actually laughed. I was like, no, this is not that. And he said, your blood pressure is horrible, and from what you're telling me, it sounds like you need that.
You're
and
depressed.
I said, let me handle it on my own, and then I'll come back. If I haven't handled it well, then you can put me on medication. And I mean, literally, for the next few months, I probably I don't know if I came close to dying, but surely heart attack or something. I mean, it was really out of control. And then one day, because I was struggling with several issues at the time, and then one day I let them all go. And it was like I woke up in a totally different planet. Everything I was relaxed. My body, I didn't have those feelings. It all passed. And
Can I ask
was
you
on the road to recovery at that.
what you mean by let it all go?
It wasn't a conscious thing, but there was like, my mind was wrapped around the conditions that I was wrestling with at the time. Some of them were wrapped up in divorce. Some of them were wrapped up in just life issues and things. And there was something, I don't know if I woke up or just it was an awareness or just something happened, a click of something in life where all of that stuff is like it was in a hand in my mind, and then like the hand opened and dropped it all out. And that it was like a weight off my shoulders. And when that happened, it manifested physically inside me. And so the thoughts in my head, the obsessive thoughts, the thoughts of, I wouldn't say I had suicide thoughts, passive suicidal. I didn't want to kill myself, but I didn't care if I died.
Right.
So,
and sometimes you thought you might be better off dead.
I totally thought that every night. I was just like, if a bus hit me, I would be totally fine, but I didn't want to walk in front of a bus.
Right.
So, and all of that just went away. And so it was the recovery kind of happened. And so when I went back to the doctor, he's like, yep, that did it. Whatever you did. Whatever you're doing now is what you need to be doing. So,
So essentially, you just decided, I can't control these things.
No, I don't think it happened over anything that I consciously did or thought or said.
This wasn't a conscious thing?
No, I believe, honestly, I would say it's like if you're doing a motion over and over, like if you're lifting weights over and over and over and just keep doing it. And then at one point, your arms just go, screw it. I can't even do anything.
I can't lift anything.
You have noodle arms.
Right.
So I kind of feel like it was that. This stuff was going on in my head 24 hours a day. I couldn't sleep. I couldn't think. I couldn't do anything. Every day was hell. It was just obsessive thoughts, physical reactions that were unpleasant, just constant. And I think my body was just like, I believe it was sort of like either die or get sick, or the body just says, enough. I'm just quit and let it go. And so my outlook on the issues even that I was struggling with changed. I didn't feel the same way that I had been feeling about something. It was just like, oh, okay, I let that go. That's gone. Cool. So I didn't have to worry about it. And it was like waking up from a dream. So I can't say it was all conscious, but it was one of the things that I did on a regular basis is I forced myself to go out.
Right.
I think if I stayed home and it was me in my head, that's the worst thing.
It really is.
I would go to a bookstore that had a coffee shop there, and I would do that every day. And even when I didn't want to, I would sit there, I would sketch, or I'd read a book, I'd watch people, I would just have coffee. And it got me out of my environment. It got me out of my head. And the next thing I knew, I was fine. I was feeling much better. And that's saved my life, I think.
I have a document. It's a self-care document. And one of the things on that self-care document, which I will put on the podcast website for people if they're interested. Basically, one of the things on there is, have you showered today?
Yeah.
Okay. If you haven't, go take a shower. Have you changed clothes? Okay. If you haven't, go change clothes.
Go change clothes.
Have you looked outside? If you haven't, open the door. Look outside.
Have you masturbated?
Have you masturbated? If you haven't,
call me. Yeah, it's true. And sometimes you need people to say, eat something. And stop eating cake.
How much water have you drank today?
If you just have, because I will drink probably the last 2 days. I had so much freaking coffee. I will just have coffee and maybe have a bread or a veggie burger or something, just something quick, and that's it. And you screw up your diet that way, and you don't giving your body the fuel that it needs to deal with stress or the situations. But no one is there to tell you. That's why you need to get married. That's why you need your wife around to tell you to eat better.
It's not a matter of getting married for those of you that aren't married like me. You don't have to get married.
Stress in middle age for me is so much better than stress when I was younger. I handle it better. I have a little more perspective. It's not any less painful or confusing, or when you're going through it, it still feels yucky. But I think you have the tools to that better equip you to deal with it. At least for me, it does.
Yeah.
So I don't panic as much when I'm stressed. I don't get as obsessive in all of the junk as I did when I was younger. And ASMR videos. And
you masturbate more now?
No, not as much.
We should do a whole show on
No,
masturbation.
We're not masturbating.
No.
I knew you were going to suggest that.
I don't want to masturbate with you because that would be weird. What I want is to do a show about masturbation.
We do a show about sex and include masturbation.
Okay.
A show just about masturbating seems to be a little weird and unnecessary. But I do feel like that sex in general we should talk about. We should get a sex therapist on here to talk.
Oh, let's do that.
Oh, so we have a guest, I think. I don't even know if we shouldn't talk about it. We got a cool guest coming up. I think maybe a couple, but one coming up pretty soon. And I'm not going to reveal it because last time we said there was a comedian coming on the show. It didn't happen. It's going to happen. But,
you're such a tease.
Well, I know, but it just... I started thinking about getting a sex therapist on the show, and I started getting excited.
You got a little excited.
It's the only time I ever get excited. No, I like those kind of topics, Bring in the controversy. Bring in the people.
Let's do it.
There's so many things that we all kind of want to know, but yet we just don't want to talk about. So, sex therapists will talk about those things.
I am very interested to speak to a sex therapist. When we did our show about movies recently.
You wanted to talk to a movie therapist. Me too.
No.
Oh.
The movie that I had mentioned called Bliss.
Okay.
They're seeing a sex therapist.
Yeah.
Through that whole movie. And I think it's really interesting.
I'm always afraid to go to a sex therapist because I'm always afraid that they're going to tell me I'm doing it wrong. They're going to reinforce the fact that I'm doing it wrong. Because I already know that I am. And they're going to tell me that. And I'm going to. So, like, I'm afraid I'll say something about the sex. And they'll be like, look, I have heard 15,000 sex things in my whole life. That's the weirdest thing I've ever heard. That's what they'll say about it. And I'll be like, oh, okay. Now I'll never be able to have sex the rest of my life.
I know for a fact that some of the things that go on in my head in regards to sex are much, much weirder than what goes on in yours.
Well, they don't involve chickens. No, I totally agree because I know you.
So if you think that you're going to be, called out by a sex therapist who says you're weird.
I'm not a weird sex person. I wish I was, but I'm not. I don't have a lot of weird sex things.
No.
I really don't. I always kind of wish my wife does. I always like, you're with someone and you're like, so what's your big fantasy? Because you want them to tell something like, I want you dressing up like Brad Pitt. And I'm like, really? That's what you like? Or something. And then she's like, nothing. I'm like, dang it.
No, for the most part, I think that my stuff is pretty tame.
You always kind of want her to go, I thought maybe we could bring somebody else in.
You want her
really?
to say,
and then I'm like, no, I just had a fantasy. And I'm like, oh, okay, cool.
So you want her to say, I'd like another man?
No, we've talked about that.
Okay.
Because I always sometimes I'll say, hey, what if we had a threesome? She'll go, yeah, let's go get another man. I'm like, no.
No, that's not what I meant. That's not at all what I meant.
She knows. I can't pull one over on her. No, but, that's another thing about middle age. And not always. Some people are freaks for the rest of their life. But I think...
freaks? Did you just call out every person?
That's right. All you freaks listening to the show. You're freaks.
I resemble that remark.
There's probably a lot of things I wanted to do when I was younger that now... It's like, that's too much trouble.
It's just not worth it. It's really not.
Sex and Netflix. So that's all I need right there.
Yep. I'm pretty good with that myself.
I don't, swinging from the lights and bringing in farm animals. I'm done with that.
I hurt my back doing that.
Bringing in farm animals? I can imagine. Cows are heavy. That's how advanced cow tipping right there. Well, speaking of tipping, let's talk about the beer. You're done. You've tipped yours over so much that it's gone.
But I didn't spill it on your computer.
You didn't spill it at all. You spilled it down your throat.
I did.
Still have about a fifth?
A fifth.
What do you think?
I like it. I do wish it had a higher alcohol content.
Definitely.
But the flavor is really good. It is. Like I said, I'm getting really into the sours right now.
Me too. And I wish that I wasn't, but I am.
Why do you wish that you weren't? What does that even mean?
I don't know. I just don't want to like new things.
Well, damn it, get used to change.
And for the first sour we had on here, I was like, no, I don't want to do a sour. And I'm like, I like that.
Kind of.
Now I like them. So every once in a while, I'll get like a vinegar drink, a health drink, a little drink with some vinegar. And this is what it tastes like. It's very, it's got a little vinegary taste to it. That kind of sour. This one does have the strawberry. I kind of like it.
I'm glad you like it.
I do want the alcohol content bumped, and I would like a little more carbonation. It did go flat a little quick.
Yeah, you're big on carbonation.
I'm big on carbonation. On carbonation, I'm really, really huge. And I just would like to have a little fizz, a little more fizz. That's part of my beer experience.
I need more fizz.
Yeah, so what do you think?
You need more fizz. I need more alcohol.
Red Hare. We did a Red Hare on the other show, and I was a little disappointed because it's a local beer, and we didn't like it as much. But this one, I like.
Yeah, this is brewed in Marietta, Georgia, but it's also brewed. They have two places. The other place that they brew it is in Charlotte, North Carolina.
Charlotte. Okay.
Not Charlotte, Charlotte.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, Marietta, good on you. I like this one.
What you doing? What you giving it? What kind of rating would you give a beer like this?
Knowing that I would have more than one of these, I will probably go ahead and give this one a 2.5.
What? I was going 3.5.
Really?
Yeah, but I'm not trying to persuade you to up your vote at all.
I've been really kind of down, like lowballing.
Well, you have to realize
lately.
2.5 is in the middle. It's average, right in the middle.
Right.
Because we go on a scale of 5.
Right.
3.5, that's a little bit more than average. That's what I'm thinking.
I'm going to give it a 3. I'm going 3.
Raise it up.
Yep.
Talked you into it.
You did.
Well, I like that because Red Hare being a local company, we can support them, and we like this beer.
Mm-hmm.
So give it a try if you get a chance. If you like, the strawberry's not too strawberry.
Not really, no.
It's just barely back there to kind of give a little
balance. And
balance.
it's really more in the nose than it is.
I totally agree.
In the flavor.
Yeah, but that's how you drink. So
through my nose.
Yeah, but give it a shot. Red Hare, well, bless her tart.
Well, bless her tart.
Which is kind of funny. Yeah, there we go. That's good.
Right. Good deal.
Are we done? Did we say everything we wanted to say?
I think we did. Right now, what I want to say is that we want to hear from you guys, the people listening, not you, Rick, but the people listening.
Yeah.
We want them to email us. I would love to get some emails. I want them directly to me. I want them to say, hello, Cheri, and then I will read it.
That blows.
Well, no, not necessarily. But I would like some emails. I want to know what you guys think. I want to know if you're actually enjoying our stupidity.
This podcast
At all. Let us know because we're kind of considering not doing it anymore.
What?
Yeah.
Who said that?
I did just now.
I never even heard that. We've only done 15 episodes. What are you talking about?
All right, let's wait till we get about
That's the cheapest way to get email of anything I've ever heard. Just like threatening people to not do the show.
Have you ever heard of passive aggression?
Yes, I definitely have.
No, really, just email me because I just want to know who you are. And
we'd like to know who we're
listening.
talking about. We don't get to see your face. We're sitting here in a little room, and we only see each other's face, which is tragic, really.
It really is.
I mean, if you see my face, you know what kind of joy that is.
So you know what we're going to do now?
What are we going to do?
We're going to go get some fried pickles.
Oh, we are. But first, let's tell people where they can find us. We're on the internet. We're at Facebook. We're on Facebook, This Epic Disaster, and we do a lot of stuff on Facebook. That's where you could find the April Fool's meme that we need you guys to
Please share.
repost. It's
Please
free.
share.
You don't have to do anything. Just click the repost it, and let's see if we can give legs to this. We may not be able to. I just think it would be funny. It'd be a great April Fool's joke. We all can play.
We might get sued.
On the
It'll
general
be
public.
fun.
We won't get sued.
Okay.
So let's do that. And you can find us on our regular website, thisepicdisaster.com. And that's our home base. And then we also have Twitter.
Yep.
This Epic Disaster, no final E, just
This Epic Disaster.
Yeah. Instagram with the E.
We're there.
YouTube. We're on YouTube. We're going to start doing more videos.
And thisepicdisaster@gmail.com.
That's right.
That's where I want those emails to come.
And we just want to, we'd like for you to interact. We are going to, if you listen to our old show, our other show, we gave everybody free stickers. We're going to get some free stickers for this show, too.
We're so getting stickers. Yeah. We're going to order them today.
I don't know about today, but we are going to order them.
Yes.
And we will start giving those out to your people who asked for it.
What was that?
I don't know. I suddenly changed my accent.
And where are you from now?
I do not know. But I do know where I'm going, and I'm going home. That's enough of this. So please, people, let us know what you think of the show. Give us a rating, download and subscribe. Tell your friends. Reblog all of our stuff so your friends know, and we would like for them to be our friends as well.
We need love. We're stressed, and we need
love and acceptance,
That's what we need.
and you to be our friend.
That's
so until then, we will see you next week.
Okay, bye.
Bye.